Okay, everybody, we're going to go ahead and we are going to seal our vapor barrier around our HVAC duct. This is our supply duct that's coming in here. So the first thing we want to do is we want to just go ahead and we want to make a diagonal cut going from one side all the way to the other. And it's pretty simple, right? So we're just going to open it up. Now, the reason we want to make a cut like this is because we want to take this inside membrane and we want to bring it up into the duct, and then we want to tape it. But what we've got to do now is we're going to trim this back just a little bit, so we have a little bit of a square edge. And also, I don't want the inside of this membrane going up too far within the duct, because then what happens, as I've learned, is then I don't have a lot of extra room in here to wrap the tape. So we're gonna go ahead and just finish making our little cuts right here, and we're good. So then our next step is we're gonna take our super sticky Siga resin tape, and I'm gonna cut off just, a couple little pieces here. And what I do is I use these little pieces to actually hold back the membrane. It just makes it a little bit easier to work. So what I do is I just put a little piece like right here. And then what I do is then I hold it against here where it's gonna sit. And then I just tack that piece up. And this is just a little bit of a helper, if you will, because I've tried it about 6 other different ways and it didn't work. So this is probably my 8th vent that I don't want to know if I can say perfected the technique, but it seems to work right now. And the other cool thing is I think this is going to be the only YouTube on video, not that, this is going to go in the Guinness Book of World Records, but this is the only video on YouTube that shows how do you seal a vapor barrier, an interior membrane, up inside the ductwork of your vents. So I have looked high and low and I haven't seen anything. Now what's interesting on this one's a little bit high, so I'm gonna trim that back just a tad, and then we're gonna pull that up and I'm gonna tape it. How super cool is that? Okay, now our drywall is gonna go on top of here. So, so this is the seal that I want. I want this vapor barrier totally sealed within this ductwork. So now that we've got that, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna seal the corners, okay? So very important note here. So we're gonna take our, I think it's 60 mil, our RISSAN tape. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna cut off a piece that is gonna seal in here in the corner, and then I'm gonna pull it around. And we're gonna do all of our corners. And then once we're done with our corners, then I'm gonna take my 100 mil tape, and then we're gonna go around and it's gonna give it a double seal around the corner. So we're gonna take a piece here and we're gonna put it in. So this is very exciting stuff. And again, I don't know how scientific it is, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a piece about like this, and then I'm gonna cut it, as you can see, right down the middle. So essentially what I'm gonna do is split it in half. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna peel it. And then what I'm gonna do, folks, is I am gonna take this bad boy and I'm gonna take it, very sticky stuff. I'm gonna take it up inside like this, make it nice, and then I'm gonna put a little bit of pressure, because this does have a little bit of flex to it. Really cool stuff. So then I'm gonna pull it, and then I'm gonna bring it around like that, right? So this gives me a really nice seal in the corner. Now behind this ductwork, our HVAC guys at Sierra Heating and Cooling went and sealed with their sealant cement the outside of this. So I've got a pretty good seal on the outside of the corners, but as they say, it never hurts to have an extra layer in here. So again, with this technique, right, of doing our corners, it's going to be super cool when I come back with the wider tape and go on the inside, because again, that is going to give me a double seal, right? Super cool stuff here. I think it's pretty cool. And again, you know, there isn't anything out there on YouTube. I was really surprised, right, on how you do this. So we're going to go ahead, you know, and it looks easy and it looks fast, and you know, it kind of is, but it was a lot of trial and error, folks, you know, on how you do this. And so this is, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see if I get a comment from the Siga guys saying, Wally, you didn't quite do it right, but it's like, there isn't anything out there. Okay, so now that we've got our corners sealed, then what we do is we use our little plastic tool here to just kind of push this back, seal our corners. It's just, you know, it's just part of the process that we do here, that we follow. One could say it is a best practice, you know, to be able to do this. All right, so now that we've got our corners, we're gonna bring out the big guns. And this is our 100 mil tape. It is the, you know, it's the same as the 60 mil, it's just a hell of a lot wider, and that would be a technical term that we use here. So what I'm gonna do, folks, I mean, you can kind of see, right, the difference here, right, between the 60 and the 100. And as you can see, the 100 is actually, they've got a score down the back on the tape, which makes it a little easier to peel. So here's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna take this tape, and I am going, again, super scientific, I'm gonna take this, and I want to come out, I don't know, about a ½ inch to an inch on each side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna pull it, I'm gonna kind of eyeball it and go, you know, that looks about right. And then we're going to do our little cut here. So what it looks like is it's gonna look something like this, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna take the middle part of the tape here, the center line, and that's what's gonna go on this edge. So what's cool is I'm gonna get half of it on the outside and I'm gonna get half of it on the inside. And so then what I do, right, you fold it. It just makes it a little easier to work with here. So we're gonna go ahead, right? We're gonna pull this stuff out. And again, now when you wanna be really careful with this stuff, because if it jumps back on each other and sticks to each other, it's almost impossible to tear apart. So you wanna be really careful. So you grab the middle of it, let it fold over, come back here, center it, right? And then you go ahead and you stick it on like that. And then what you do is then you take your blade. I'm sure we're breaking all kind of OSHA regulations here, but since I'm the construction manager, I get to call the shots. So then what I do with my blade is I take it and I just do a little cut right about here. And then I come over here and make sure we got the right blade side. And then I just take it right in the middle. And then watch this, everybody. And then I take this and I fold it up. I take this side, fold it up there. This side, fold it up there. And then I take my plastic tool and then we just lock that bad boy up, bring it on the sides like that. And as we say in the band I used to play in, it goes something like that. So that is what we are going to do. So next I'm gonna go over to this side, do the same scientific approach, pull it about like that, and say, you know, that looks about good. And then we'll go ahead, we'll make our cut. And even with a piece this small, we still want to fold it in half. Just makes it a little bit easier to work with. And again, man, this is like the stickiest tape you will ever work with. I thought the Stego tape was sticky that we used for our under slab vapor barrier. This stuff even more so. So we're gonna go ahead and kind of line that in the middle. We're gonna go ahead, put that on. We're gonna take our blade and we're gonna make our little cut right here. And we're gonna do our little cut. I wanna apply a little bit of pressure here. There, right? How cool is that? And then, oop, didn't quite get it. I think we can go a little further here. There we go. I think that'll work. So then we're gonna take it and we're just gonna bring it right up. Bring that, look at that. How freaking cool is that? Or at least I think that's pretty cool. And then we go back in here. Right. So what's really helpful is I build out going all the way around it. So it's layer upon layer upon layer, which I think is just a great approach, and it totally seals this, which is the whole goal, right? And I think, you know, that's the attention to detail, and it does take a lot of time. You know, I mean, it just takes a lot of time. But we're hoping from an ROI perspective that our house is not going to need a lot of energy, right? Because it's about as airtight as we can make it right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do this other side right here. And it looks about something like that. And again, this is like, I think this is like my 8th or 9th vent. So what this looks like goes by really fast. It didn't. It took me a good 4 or 5, good 4 or 5 runs, to figure out the technique. So I hope this video is helpful to somebody out there who, undergoes, first of all, building your own house. And like I've said in many other videos, there is no other satisfaction, folks, about building your own house and doing this kind of detail yourself. There just isn't, I think. And, they say that's one of the bucket list things to do, before you change your cosmic IP address. As Edgar Froese, the founder of a 70s electronica band called Tangerine Dream, said that, we really don't die, we just change our cosmic IP address, which I love. But it is highly satisfying, but it is an incredible amount of work. I mean, make no bones about it. And it does create a bit of stress and also a decent amount of exhaustion, to be quite honest with you. And if you don't pace yourself, you will burn out and you will hit the wall. So now what I'm going to do, so we've got this side, this side, this side. Now we have this side right over here. So I'm going to turn around. So now we're going to go ahead. We're going to take our tape, do our very scientific measurement process here of saying, yeah, that looks about right. And then we're going to just make our little cut. What's nice on this tape, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but there are actually some little mini grid lines in here that just make it nice to have a little bit of a guide when you cut your tape. So we'll go ahead, right, wax on, wax off, or something like that, peel on, peel off. And again, when we pull this, we want to be kind of gentle with it so it doesn't snap back on itself. So then when you get that break in the middle, as you can see, this stuff is just so sticky. All right. And then we'll line her up, put her in place, get that done. Take our little blade. Well, let's make a gentle little cut, a happy cut, as our friend Bob Ross would say. We only make happy cuts. Unless there's blood, then that is a sad cut. Now, we'll go ahead and take this and we'll wrap it up. We'll wrap up our corners like that. We'll get our nice plastic tool here, which helps us get a better seal. And by the way, this was our friends from Performance Building Products in Portland, Maine. Really great group of folks out there that have been on the phone with me a couple times to help out, answer some questions, because again, I've never done anything like this before. So we'll go ahead and get that up. So there you go, folks. So we've got, that is how you seal your vapor barrier to the inside of your ductwork. Now, we did not do a strap sealing. That is something that you will see with a lot of high performance homes. We decided not to. We were just gonna go very simple and just do our membrane. And then as you can see, our drywallers have already started install their drywall. And again, they're being extra careful to hit our studs, our truss bottom cords here, and not puncture the membrane, right? Because when we puncture the membrane, then now we have a gap in the thermal, from a thermal bridge, thermal barrier perspective. So that was another thing we were really fortunate with, is we found a local drywall guy, his name's Brian, who was willing to take his time and pay attention and be really thoughtful to ensure that as he's fastening our drywall, this is 5/8, we went with something a little bit thicker, we're gonna be airtight as much as we possibly can. So there you go, folks, that's how you do it. We've got a couple more to do. I'll do another video here on how to do your lighting receptacles. And it's essentially, a very similar approach. You just cut it, you trim it out, and then you just tuck everything in and tape it. So there you go, folks. Hope you enjoy the video.